Richard, you've done 700 shows.
800.
800 shows?
Yeah. That's all right, it's just a typo, that's all right.
And you film 3 shows a day?
4 shows a day.
Maybe I should have done more research instead of looking up pictures of Andy Murray. It was a bit of an accident, wasn't it?
It kind of was. I mean, I'm a producer, so I've done Deal or No Deal and £1 Million Drop, all sorts of things for years and years. And we pitched Pointless to the BBC, and I played the role of the co-host, because you always do, producers always play the roles when you show it. And they said at the end, God, it'd be nice to have someone a bit like Richard doing that job.
Yeah.
And they said to one of the producers, well, Richard is a bit like Richard. And I am. they said, would he do it? And I thought, yeah, why not? And, you know, 5 years later, you're Bob Holness. And you think, oh, how has this happened?
It wasn't actually that far away from our show in so much as, you know, I mean, your friend Alexander Armstrong, who is not a great friend of mine, but I do know him because he's a great friend of Nigel Havers' daughter's husband. His career was all right, but then they brought you in and you kind of lifted the whole thing.
Yeah, I did say
Jack's, okay, Jack's career's doing okay, but, you know, it sometimes works with a show if you bring somebody in who's not necessarily a household name at the time.
Yeah, but you weren't reluctant.
Quietly. What?
You weren't reluctant. You leapt on it as soon as there was an opportunity to get in that chair. You were, like, all over it. Richard, one of the interesting things about Pointless is it's been sold all around the world.
it has.
We're going to have a little look at some foreign versions of Richard Osman. This, first up, we have the German version of Richard, Ralph Kaspers. That's Ralph.
A handsome man.
On the German version of Pointless, titled Zero Wins.
Well, it's not titled that, that's the English version of it, isn't it? It's called Null gewinnt, you can see it there.
Null gewinnt.
They haven't called it Zero Wins, because they're in Germany.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, that's
What's
very
right? Null gewinnt, as
I knew that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Null gewinnt.
Yeah.
Which, in English, translates as Zero Wins.
Oh, well done.
Named after their World War record, presumably.
No. In Croatia, they've gone for the rather more literal title of, and I'm not going to do it in Croatian.
Hello.
That's the Croatian version of you. Krezimir Suveic Midral.
If me and Dougie had a child...
I'd see his internet history.
The literal translation of the Croatian version is no one had thought of it. And finally, here's Italy's answer to Richard Osman. He stars on Italy's version, which is called Humpty Bumpty Bunga Bunga Sex Party, weekdays at 5. Now, each week on the show, my father and I have gone